On the last couple of years, and I trying to make a little museum up there of all the smaller stuff so it can be displayed. And I insulated it here, and I'm hoping to block it off so I can keep some heat in here. But this is where I'm just kind of getting it organized now, so I can show off some of the smaller stuff. And Roman gave me this here from the old shoe shop, so I want to get. I've got a bunch of ration books and discharge papers and things that I want to display in here. But I got to locate them now. I put them away where sometimes they're hard to go pick up and find.
Oh, well, this is a great start.
But here are those 250 caliber bullets. There just came from a Army base down in Yuma, Arizona, where General Patton was trained troops for Africa, and they found them at the old target range. So Roger Johnson was just down there, and he gave them to me. So I got to get them tagged and who gave them to me and stuff.
Mm.
They find all that stuff behind where they had target range.
Oh, so what are these here? War ration books. How did they work?
Well, everybody was issued a ration book, and so you could buy gas, and tires were not available for new vehicles, but mostly for gas, fuel.
Hmm.
Yeah, everybody was issued them. And of course the farmers got a little more than the average person, so they could keep production going. Yeah, I got a lot of that stuff at home yet.
What is this picture of? Is that a...
The what?
This picture, it says U.S. Army or...
Yeah, that's that little tractor, that M7 snow tractor, a white one. Last summer, the historical put that on their button that they sold.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah. I got some buttons, but they're at home. And that was probably the worst thing I ever fixed up was that. I got it from a friend in Paulson, Montana.
Oh, okay.
It was a complete shambles. Marion thought I'd lost my mind completely when I got that thing.
Oh.
But we've got a little bit of everything here. There's I just seen one like this the other night on the pickers. You know, you ever watch that?
I have.
This is a Japanese handheld siren, and they had one there. I thought I had the only one in the country, but this is Japanese. They had a silencer on there, and this is what the Americans had for civil defense in case they thought they were going to have an air raid or something. So
okay.
They wanted to warn people. They're all just handheld sirens, and they really make a noise.
Do they work? Is that one still functional?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It works. Works real good.
Can we use that at football games?
Huh?
Can we use that at football and other sporting events?
I had a friend from Columbus that wanted to borrow that. He did borrow it. He wanted to take a recording of it. He said when his dogs bark too much, he turns the recording on.
How nice. And is that your bag for carrying your supplies?
Yeah, that's a duffel bag carried halfway around the world. And that shirt is the rank I ended up with. Because we never wore any rank over there. That's not my original shirt. I just found that here in some clothing that people give me. That's I was a tech sergeant. As we never wore stripes. I only wore my stripes about a half a day when we got down the discharge at Fort Lewis. So I hitchhiked over to Seattle and stopped at a pawn shop, and they sold them on my uniform, and that's the only day I wore them.
Hmm. Was that for security so that...
Yeah. So the Japanese couldn't tell who was important people.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, because they wanted to pick out the important people. And this is I got a bunch of pictures here. I keep them covered up so the sun don't bother them.
Oh, cool.
The ones on the Jeep, that was the one that was in our tent, and I'm the only one that's left alive. The rest of them have all passed away. Those pictures were all taken in New Guinea. We helped unload the first P-51s that came to the South Pacific off that baby carrier, and then pulled them over to an airstrip. And I have a tractor like that that pulls them over. It's called a Cletrac.
Oh,
And that was the best Army buddy I had. The guy down there, he's from Walla Walla, Washington.
do you remember his name?
Yep, Bob Geist.
Hmm.
Seen him every year for 40-some years.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And is
That's
that
a military desk there, and this is a military desk that Joel Andrews from Williston gave me that here a couple of years ago. I never seen a military desk that big. It's huge.
is this for a commanding officer because of the size?
I suppose it was at a base or something. It has these on both sides where you can pull the maps out and stuff. And it's heavy. It's massive. And that orderly room and that maintenance wing over there came from a building at the air base in Estevan.
Oh,
I happened to be up there when they started tearing it down, and I asked them if I could have them, and they said sure, so I put them up here.
yeah.
That maintenance wing is the other one. Got a lot of stuff. There's a periscope in here. Kenny Ingber gave me that one. We don't know what it's for, but it's just like new. Look at the leather case the military had on it.
Yeah.
Lot of field telephones and stuff, which we used in World War II.
Yeah, my phone is smaller than the flap on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a belt for aircraft for 50 caliber.
I was wondering,
Yeah.
I bet you could reach out and touch someone with that.
Yeah. I got somewhere around here. I got a whole belt of 50 calibers. I think they're in the back of one of the vehicles.
Oh,
Of course, they're not real anymore. They're demilled, you know.
oh, I thought they were still active. You could
Oh no,
pop them off.
no. Obama would have me in jail if I had them.
Hmm.
This is off a German tank, and I just put it on a tripod to display it. It's very powerful. Yeah.
What can you see? 10 miles, or I mean,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you could. It takes a little while to focus it in, but yeah, it's pretty strong.
and then up-to-date flying magazines.
Oh yeah, I save all of the military magazines. And over in the shop, I have an airborne Caterpillar I'm rebuilding, and this is a story about it. I'm going to take that home and show it to some people. What they did with them. They brought them in on gliders and fixed up, bombed out airstrips and stuff.
Oh,
I got one over in the shop I'm rebuilding.
anything in particular about this?
I've had that for 20, 30 years. It's been over in the pole barn. I'm not going to fix it. I've got it running good. I'm just going to leave it that way so people can see how beat up a Jeep can get and still run.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Because it's pretty well rusted out and everything.
And here's that M7.
Yeah. And this is the M7 snow tractor that's on that picture over there. That was designed by the government to pick up down pilots in a mountainous area. And if you're familiar with tractors, it was made by Ellis Chalmers by the radiator shell. You can probably recognize that.
Oh, it looked familiar.
And the government made them put Jeep driveline components in it so they could service it out in the field. So it's got a Jeep engine in it and a modified Jeep transfer case. It's got high and low range, and it's got a Harley Davidson that they used to use in the three-wheelers for a rear housing for a drive assembly.
I would have never thought Harley was involved with this. But
Oh yeah, well they made a lot of motorcycles for the military too. But it's a fun vehicle. It runs good.
how did they have turning brakes? So if
Yeah, it's got 2 sets of brakes.
okay,
And it's designed, it has a pair of skis that go on here, which if I live long enough someday, I'll make a set of skis for it, and the wheels just unpin, and then they put the skis on it.
oh cool.
Then you can put the wheels back on there. This is a Cushman 3-wheeler. It used to belong to Boeing. It used to be run up and down one of the plants just for servicing and stuff.
This looks like a big Walter.
Yeah, that's a Walter Snowfighter. It's not military, but it runs good, and it sets along that the tires started blowing out just setting, so I got it jacked up trying to save the tires.
Oh, original.
I'm having a tough time trying to find the right size of tires for it.
Oh,
It's got a big 6-cylinder Hercules engine in it, and it's kind of before its time. It's a 1935, and it's 12-volt system with live hydraulics, and that was way before anybody else was even thinking about 12-volt.
is this front wheel drive?
4-wheel drive.
Okay, that's what that extra shaft is for then.
Yep.
I bet that was before its time too. 4-wheel drive was.
Pretty much. Yep. Yeah.
I bet if you got one of these stuck, you were in trouble.
Yeah, you would be, because at the time there wasn't anything that big to pull it out with, I'm sure. And this here is a 41 carryall. I found the body down in Colorado and had no windows, no drivetrain, no nothing. So I fixed it up and had a couple of half-ton Dodges, so that I had the driveline components and stuff, and fixed it up. And Mary and I drove that in '89 to a military meet in Portland, Oregon. It's a good road vehicle.
Oh,
That was used by the officers out in the field. It's for maps and radio gear and stuff.
oh, I see they've got a lot of space in the back. So
Yeah, it's kind of like a Suburban, really. It's a nice outfit. And Roland has fixed up all the seats. It's kind of dark to see it here, but it didn't have any seats in there. But I had a Jeep station wagon. I knew it had to have a split seat, to get in the back and stuff. So
oh,
Roland, he upholstered it.
that's great. And it is bright enough I can see.
Oh, can you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is it 4 or 5 speed up to like 50 miles an hour?
It goes 50, 55 all day long.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real comfortable to drive. Yeah.
Do you have to have special licensing to have these military insignia still on the?
No. I licensed it with a Pioneer license so I could be legal, and I put on turn signals. Turn signals under here.
Oh,
If you drive in the modern traffic way, you got to have turn signals.
nobody uses them though.
I use them. A lot of people around here don't use them. But that's the license plate I put on it. It's called a carryall, so.
Yeah.
And then one winter, I had a set of plans, so I made a 37 millimeter howitzer.
Oh, is that for tailgaters?
Pardon?
Is that for tailgaters?
Yeah. Yeah, it made everything but the wheels.
Hmm.
And the trail splits out like a regular howitzer. I just tow it behind the carryall or something when we have a parade.
Did you have to get special licensing to make the barrel, or is it?
Well, you can't fire it.
That's what I was wondering if you can.
No, you'd get in trouble if you made it so you'd fire it. Yeah. But it's authentic other than that. It looks good. Then of course that's a half track there, a white half track. That was I never really seen any of them over in the South Pacific. I think they were mostly in Africa and Europe.
Oh,
In fact, Israel still used them up till about 20 years ago.
really?
Yep. They're the last place that they still manufacture tracks for them there. They made the last tracks that were available for them.
Oh. Do you know what the FAB stands for behind the light there?
Yeah, 260s Field Artillery. That's what I was in.
Oh, okay.
260s Field Artillery Battalion. And then I was at Headquarters Battery. That's what's on where the license tag is.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know military E's.
Yeah.
Is this your snow buggy?
Huh?
Snowmobile?
Yeah, this is the military, first snowmobile the military had. They built that and designed it to chase the Nazis out of Norway, but by the time they got it in production, they got the Nazis out of Norway. But that's what it was designed for. It's made by Studebaker, and then of course they realized that as they were using them that they'd float. You know, and then toward the end of the war, this is a later model, they made flotation cells for them. The late model's got 4 bolts here, and they put a flotation cell on the back and the front, and then it was completely amphibious.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Was it fast enough to get through the water that it...
3-4 miles an hour in the water, so.
So you weren't quite the sitting duck crossing a stream?
No, but Marion's uncle, he gave me the shoulder patch. The weasels were first issued for the special services that was developed in Harrison, Montana at Helena, and that was their shoulder patch. 40% Canadians and 60% Americans.
Oh.
And he was in, they were called the Devil's Brigade. They made a movie of it, and he came here every year and shed a few tears till he passed away. He lived in Minnesota. And then we had, this is a trailer with a Jeep running gear in it. And the Studebaker people made the Weasel, and they said they never made a trailer. And I said, well, they made 2 because this is the exact lettering that was on it. Test track vehicle trailer number 2. But they still don't admit they ever made it. But we found that up in north of Fairbanks, Alaska, and I'm sure they were experimenting with the Weasel, and I'm sure they were doing the same with the trailer. And the war was progressing so fast they just left the trailer there, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
this looks like it'd be a miserable ride. You have no protection.
Well, it's strictly for cargo and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I see the benches, and I was wondering if people were supposed to sit here.
Well, anything beat walking.
Oh, okay. And this is interesting. They actually put the weight and the length on there.
Oh yeah, yeah, they had it all on them. And I'm surprised that the Studebaker people didn't have a record of you know, it's just a prototype, of course, but.
So you've got one of the only 2
Yep.
known to existence.
I don't know if there's even number 1 anymore, because this is the only one I ever heard of. And then way over in the corner here is a British truck. It's just a cargo truck. It's kind of hard to get through there.
Ford 1500.
Yep. And it's kind of unique. You drive on the right-hand side, you know.
And I can see that there with a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Is that the serial number of the vehicle? Or
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
is this cargo, or were troops ride up here?
It's basically cargo, I'm sure.
Hmm.
This is an international. The international was only issued to the Navy and the Marines. And so Cal Rodenquist was in the Marines, so I put his company on here. And I couldn't tell you what that all stands for, but that was the company he was in.
Hmm.
This is just a half-ton weapons carrier,
Oh,
and it's got a military generator in the back, driven by a Jeep engine.
how many kilowatts or power?
Oh, I don't know, it's 110 on 220.
Hmm.
What the capacity is, I couldn't tell you anymore. It'll have a tag on it someplace.
Maybe I can get at it better on this other side.
Can I read it?
Yeah, I believe the camera, if I'm steady enough, will be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Now, is this the same thing that you would have seen on MASH running their hospital?
Probably. Yep. Yep, this is the same era vintage pickup they'd had too. This is a very strange gun carrier. Now this one will fire.
Oh.
On there with this 30 caliber air cooled.
Oh, would they have one guy fire and one guy drive, or did he do both?
Yeah. Yeah, and then there were room for troops in the back.
That must have been nice and warm right next to the engine there.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be a poor place to be though because it's wide open and somebody throwing a hand grenade in there. If you couldn't throw it out in time, well, you'd be in trouble.
Oh, because of the protection would keep the blast in.
Right, yeah. And this thing runs so quiet, you can stand in here and you can't hear it. But if you touch it, you can feel it vibrate. It runs that quiet.
Amazing.
It's made by Ford of Canada. It's got a 95 horsepower V8 engine in it.
Do these panels open up if you want to show the engine off to the world?
Oh, yeah, you'd have to lift it out of there. It's just a flathead V8 there, 95 horsepower.
So would this go about 15, 20 miles an hour, or?
Yeah.
This looks very, it looks like it'd be fun to drive.
Yeah, it'll turn around its own length. Yeah.
Oh. Prairie Command, what's the significance of that?
Yeah, it's come from Canada, and I took it up to Estevan one year on a parade. Think I'd get some information on it, but nobody ever come forward. But it came from Canada up here.
To those of you watching this video, if you have information, please put it in the comments section.
Yeah, yeah. And this is a World War I trailer on here. It's got hard rubber tires.
Oh,
And this is landing mats. Every airstrip in New Guinea, the whole airstrip was made out of these here because it was so
soft.
wet and muddy.
Kind of like a rig pad would use today.
Yep. Yeah.
Is this standard issue trailer, or?
Yeah, that's a Korean War type vintage trailer. Yeah.
Is this a military tractor or anything special?
No, it's just a Cub Cadet. It's just we picked it up and I use it all the time in the summertime.
Oh, it looks like it'd be handy in small places to move some dirt.
Yeah, it's a good running little tractor.
Oh, this is a heavy looking hitch. Looks like it'd be hard to back this trailer up.
It steers from both ends.
It does?
Yeah. It's made to go in a convoy where, you you turn a lot of corners. The steering is welded shut on the back, but it'll steer from both ends.
Oh.
Yep.
So it'd turn real tight then, too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's an interesting fact. I never knew about these trailers.
Yeah. I don't take that out every year. It's kind of hard to get it in and out of here,
Well, you'd need a skid steer or something that you could...
Yeah, I run it in with the forklift.
Oh, that'd be just as good. Yeah. So, vehicles down this row, or?
Oh, yeah. We get down there. This here is a Korean War vintage. It's a 53 GMC 6x6.
I see this is for the Army.
Yeah.
Anything special about this motor, or it's...
No, it's just a regular GMC 6x6 overhead valve. This is a World War I truck here.
Oh, looks a little rough to be riding a... Will you paint this and restore it?
No, I just want to keep that original right the way it is. I redid the seats and the windshield frame because they had rotted apart, but I fixed them up just the way it was.
Was this 1920s or?
Somebody stole the tag off from it. It's probably about a 1918 or 1920. Yeah, right after World War II.
Maybe somebody watching this can identify the...
Because it came out toward the end of the war because it's got rubber tires on it. All the early ones had hard rubber.
Oh. And then the push bumper, or?
Well, yeah, you could. It's kind of unique. It's spring loaded. It's I don't know why they did that, but it's been hit a time or two. It's bent.
Yeah. And then crank start, that must have been an adventure when it was cold.
Yeah.
I bet you left this idling as long as you could.
Yeah. It runs pretty good, but terrible thing to drive.
Oh, do you have problem getting the right kind of gas formulation?
Well, no power steering and the shift's hard and all that, you know. But at the time, I suppose it was all there was, you know.
Oh, is that dual wheels, or?
No,
I see just one with an extra rim.
I think at one time it probably had duals on it, yeah.
This is all very fascinating equipment. I
Yeah,
hope we can get a decent archive for you.
yeah.
And then this looks like a more comfortable troop carrier.
Well, this is the one that this is the one we drove to Alaska in '92. We lived in the back of the truck for a month. They formed a military convoy to celebrate 50 years of the Alaskan Highway. And this is built by Studebaker. Up on the dash is a map. They made everybody a brass map of the route. Picture of it or not.
Hopefully I got that good enough.
Yeah, we were gone a month. We drove 5,280 miles on this. And they had several packets of 5 in a packet, and got A on the windshield yet. We kept that. We led the convoy.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the Studebaker was the predominant truck on the highway, and this is built by Studebaker.
6x6, I mean all-wheel drive?
Yep.
Those look like some aggressive tires to... Did they go through a lot? I mean, would they spin through and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we plow snowed with a 6x6 for up till 2-3 years ago.
Oh.
GMC, and it made a wonderful snowplow. Yeah.
Cummins turbo diesel, that... Is this a...
That's a homemade tractor. And got a Model A engine in it, the John Deere front end, and some kind of a truck rear end. I just got it running good and fixed the steering wheel and fixed it up so I just, display it.
Oh, it looks so small, it looks like an airplane tug.
Yeah, yeah, it does, yeah. And this is one of my favorites. This is I showed that picture of them P-51s being towed back to the airstrip.
Yes.
This is the type of tractor that towed them. It's a Cleat-Track. It's a high-speed rubber track vehicle. It was designed to service aircraft. It had a light plant on it and a welding unit, and on the back end it had an 18,000-pound air compressor, which I can't find one that was driven there to air struts on the bombers and stuff.
18,000
Yep.
PSI or?
Yep.
Right. My, that's a lot of pressure.
And it had a tow bar that laid here where they towed the vehicles.
Oh. Do you know what this particular insignia means?
8th Air Force.
Oh.
Bill Baker, a real good friend of ours, was in the 8th Air Force, so I had some grandkids painted that under for me.
Oh, it looks like an actual sticker. I didn't know it was painted.
No, it was. They came here one evening and about an hour painted that, but they had 4 or 5 cans of spray paint and some decals, and it looks real authentic.
So is it the center one your shift and then the other two the brakes?
That's what you just steered with.
Yeah.
It's a fun vehicle to drive.
I would love the opportunity if you ever pull it out just to see it.
Every year at the thrashing show.
Okay.
Yeah. I built the cab. Roman helped me make the top. Roman made the seats for it. And I built all of the hoods, side panels, and all that stuff for it.
And is that the original serial number? Or?
Yep. And it was one of the few vehicles that were 12 volt in World War II.
Oh, were they 24 or 48 prior to that?
It's 12 volt, but it's 2 12 volt batteries in here. And the Weasel was 12 volt too. That's the last thing we did overseas. We were converting everything from 6 volt to 12 volt.
Okay.
For their radios.
Oh. Yeah. Well, is there the tractors up front there, or that other Jeep?
Yeah, we can walk to here. This is a small case tractor, utility type, but they had them in the military too, so when I get around to it, I'm going to paint it up so it can display it better.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you know that this have a live PTO, or?
Yeah, he does. Then this is a 6x6 Dodge. They came out toward the end of the war, and I bought 2 of them, you know, junkers, and trying to make one out of the 2. That's one of my next projects when I get around to it. I bought this to eventually make a wrecker out of it, but as the time progressed, when everybody wanted a wrecker with air conditioning and power steering and all that, so I gave up on that. That was built by Dodge too, just like the carryall was back there.
And is this a military motor, or?
Yep, that's going to go in here when the time comes.
Oh, that's cool.
Then I got a lot of trunks that were military that people have been giving me. I hope to get them all. That was Bill Baker's. I just got that here this summer, so I'm going to get them up and display them. And up on top back there, there's a original bunk bed made out of wood that was in all the Army camps and stuff.
Oh. I didn't think you'd be in one spot long enough to have a bunk.
Well, in basic training, most of them had bunks. When you got overseas, you never had something like that.
Was this military or just?
No, I just got that to help move stuff around.
Now this looks, was that air base?
Yeah, that's an air base for hauling ammunition, bombs or whatever to load aircraft.
Oh,
That came from a Minot Air Base about 27 years ago.
yes. Do you have anything else you want to say about the equipment, or?
Oh, under the bench here, I've got under the bench, I've got a Coleman aircraft heater for heating up airplane motors, but it's buried. You can't see it. Stuff like that, I got to get out and get them in the open. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been John Benter's museum. We greatly appreciate his restoration efforts and care of the equipment.
Yeah, I'm glad you could come down. I wish it was a little warmer, so it'd been more comfortable.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again at the threshing bee.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Then it'll be warmer and more comfortable.
Yep, right.
Well, thank you again, sir.
Okay.
Benter's Collectables.